Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye. Om. Dear friends, welcome to the Geeta. We are seeing the third chapter and we have to read the shloka number 42. The context is Krishna has been telling as to how kama or desire is the thing which is the main enemy for a person. Jnanino nitya vairina. For a jnani, it is always an enemy because a jnani always wants to avoid this kama. Because kama is something which is going to bind a person. Kama is going to distract a person from his pursuit of the knowledge of self. So a jnani or even a seeker, jnani means of course he has passed the stage of seekerhood and he has become a realized person. So a jnani or a realized person is one who always avoids this kama. So that is what we saw in this 40 and 41. Now we have to see this 42. In this 42 again, Krishna is telling about what is the role of indriyas. Even earlier Krishna was saying what is the locus or where exactly is this kama based. He was saying indriyani, manaha, buddhi. They are the place where this kama is based and they are not your actual personality. Your actual personality is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Your actual personality is something different. So you realize that and avoid all these things. You neck out all these things. So that is what he was saying. So he is trying to strengthen that argument by this particular shloka. He says, Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. Indriyani paranyahuhu. So here the overall meaning I'll tell first because this is a slightly difficult verse. Verse is not difficult. The meaning we have to understand. That is, this is actually from Kathopanishad. If you have heard about what is called a Kathopanishad, that Kathopanishad says what is meant by Indriya, what is meant by Buddhi, etc. The entire hierarchy it gives. The same thing in a slightly different words. Krishna is saying here, Indriyani parani ahu. That is, with respect to the gross body. Suppose you take a human body or any body, any living being. What do we see? We see the gross body. And this gross body, suppose there is a dead body. In that dead body, there is no question of any response. There is no indriya, there is no indriya jnanam, there is no mind, there are no senses, no faculties of senses. So the body itself is something which is totally gross. Gross in the sense it is not able to know anything. It is not able to know. It is only being observed. It is only being fed. The body simply grows. So with respect to the body means this skin, bone, flesh, etc., which have no capacity to think, which have no capacity to know. With reference to these things, the sense organs, they are more intelligent. They are smart. Because the sense organ, that is something in which that consciousness is reflected in that. Consciousness is not as much reflected in this, our blood, bones, etc., etc. So because blood and bones, they are not able to see. My blood is not able to see, my bone is not able to see, my skin is not able to see. Of course, skin, there is a smell of the sense of touch. That sense of touch is there. That is a different thing. So with reference to the gross body, the sense organs, they are said to be superior because the sense organs are able to perceive things. And what they perceive, they present it to the mind. And indriyas themselves, the sense organs themselves, they are not very great. Because if the mind is elsewhere, suppose I am sitting here and in front of me somebody is sitting there. My mind is concentrating on my class. I am not looking at that. I am not looking at that person or I am not looking at this person. So my mind is not at all there. Though the sense objects are right in front of my eyes, still I am not looking at them. Maybe the camera is there in front of me, but I am not bothered about the camera. I am not looking at the camera. I may be physically, my eyes may be focused in that direction, but my mind is not on that. So mind is said to be superior to indriyas. Because it is only when the mind is there, the indriyas will function. Suppose I am just walking, going on a roadside. There are so many things which pass by. My mind is elsewhere, so I don't even notice them. Suppose my mind is on watching them. I will certainly watch. So the mind is said to be superior to indriyas. Because though the sense organ has perceived a sense object, it is not reported or recorded in the mind. So unless the mind wants it. So the mind, unless the mind is also present, so that is why we say, okay, he is absent-minded. A person is absent-minded. Suppose a person is sitting in the class and he is not listening to what somebody is saying. So, okay, you are sitting not only class, anywhere, let us say. Your mind is elsewhere. That is what we say. So the mind is said to be superior to sense organ. Okay, the mind receives. And who is superior to the mind? Mind is the faculty or the level at which all impressions they get recorded, they get noticed. But when they get noticed, there is what is called likes and dislike. Above that mind is what is called intellect. Intellect means that buddhi, the discriminating ability. Whether something is good, something is right, something is wrong, something is desirable, something is not desirable. So that buddhi or intellect is something which is above the mind. So that is exactly what he is saying here. Indriyani paranyahuhu. Indriyani means plural. That is the indriyas, the sense organs. They are called superior. Why? With respect to the physical body, which is said to be very, very gross, which is not able to perceive anything. With respect to the body, the indriyas are superior. And indriyebhyah param manah. With respect to the indriyas, with respect to the sense organs, the mind is said to be superior. Because the mind, unless the mind is present, the indriyas are of no use. Then, manasastu para buddhihi. With respect to the mind also, even with respect to the mind, okay, mind may record, but then the buddhi, the intellect has to analyze. Nishayatmika buddhi, it is said. So here, of course, we have to know that in our Indian system, we have analyzed the mind in such a detailed way. There are 4 levels at which our people analyze the mind. That is, when the sense organs, they observe something and they receive that impression and present it to the mind is just a sort of a recording instrument. Mind is just a recording instrument where that impression is recorded. And that is the primary level. The mind is that sankalpa vikalpatmakam manaha, it is said. That is, you just something gets noticed, and you are not making any judgment on that. You are not coming to any decision on that. It is just recorded in the mind. Then nischayatmika buddhi. Buddhi is the next level where it says, yes, this is that. This is what I know. This is something which I know. This is something which is good. This is something which is bad. Buddhi. Then manaha buddhi. Then the next level is ahankara. Ahankara does not mean arrogance. Aham means I, that I notion. The notion that I know it. Yes, I know that. I know this, I know that there is a book. I know this, I know that, etc., etc. That next level is that aham. Then finally it comes something like a recollecting faculty, something like what you were there, your computer memory or cache, something which is in the cache, it is recalled. So that faculty of recalling to the mind is what is called chittam. Chitta, manaha, buddhi, ahankara, chittam. So that is why we find in one shloka of Shankaracharya, mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham. That is, I am not mind, I am not buddhi, I am not ahankara, I am not that chittam. I am above all these things. I am that illuminer. I am that agency which is illumining all these things. That is what Shankaracharya says. Sadananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda Rupa. Chit and Ananda. I am of the nature of pure consciousness. So that is what Shankaracharya says. So like that, Indriyas are superior with reference to the body. And with reference to the Indriyas, mind is superior. And with reference to that mind, buddhi is supposed to be superior. Manasastu para buddhi. And who is superior to what is superior to that buddhi? Yo buddhe paratastu saha. That is the fourth line. Yo buddhe parataha. That which is beyond that buddhi. That which is beyond that buddhi. Of course, I also told there is what is called the ego, etc. There is what is called a cosmic ego. Of course, here Krishna is skipping. Krishna is skipping 1 or 2 levels, intermediate levels. But Vedanta says that above that buddhi is that intellect. And this intellect is only a small speck. It is something like a small speck of that cosmic intellect. If you visualize the cosmic intellect as a huge fire, and from that huge fire, many sparkles, small sparkles, they are called Vispulinga. Yatha Agnehe Vispulinga, says one Upanishad. That is like from a huge fire, some small sparks, they come out. So similarly, this buddhi, small individual buddhi or individuated mind is called what is called that is Vispulinga. It is somewhat like a sparkling. So all these buddhis, they are product of that cosmic mind. So that cosmic mind again is something which is which we are visualizing. That cosmic mind is the thing which is enabling all the minds to function. So that is the reason why in my mind also 2 plus 2 is 4. In your mind also 2 plus 2 is 4. In somebody else's mind 2 plus 2 is 4. So 4. Otherwise, if each body is responsible for its own individual mind, then my mind may say 2 plus 2 is 4. Somebody else's mind may say 2 plus 2 is 5. Somebody's mind may say 2 plus 2 is something else. So like that, so all the minds of all the beings, they are said to be, they are said to have emanated as small pieces of that cosmic mind. And that cosmic mind again, there is something beyond that cosmic mind. That cosmic mind is something which again, where again we are saying that cosmic mind is supposed to be the boss of all these things. But that pure Shuddha Brahma, it is said to be much above that. So that is what he says, Yo buddhehe paratah. The thing which is that pure consciousness is something which is beyond that. Pure consciousness is something which is beyond what is called this buddhi. Buddhi is the level where it is knowing. There is what is called a knower-known relationship. There is somebody who is a knower. There is something called an object to be known. There is something called the process of knowledge. Whereas that pure consciousness, or what we call Brahman, is something which is above that buddhi, which is above that what is called intellect. So, yo buddhe paratastu saha. So that Atma, here the word saha does not refer to kama. The words refer saha. Sa means he in English, in Sanskrit, saha means he. He or in any masculine thing, kama. Kama is again in masculine. So this word saha does not refer to kama. It is referring to that Atma. Because this particular shloka, as I said, it is actually almost copied from Kathopanishad. And that Kathopanishad says, Buddhehe Atma Mahan Paraha. It says, Buddhehe Atma Mahan Paraha. Atma Mahat. There is another thing that Atma is something which is superior. So here, so the Buddhe Paratastu Saha, we have to take the meaning as that pure Atma. So then the next shloka says, now you have to realize that your personality is that. Your personality or your real self is that. You are that pure consciousness. And what all you are seeing as Indriya, body, mind, complex, etc., is something which is just a small tentative address of yours. It is only a tentative identity of yours, but not a permanent identity. So a human being has two identities. What is called a tentative identity and the real identity. The tentative identity is this body-mind complex, and then what all goes on in the mind, etc. And the real identity is one and the same for every being, one and the same for everything in the universe. That real identity is Supreme Consciousness. So the next shloka says that, Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhya atmanamatmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. So evam buddhehe param buddhva. Evam means in this manner, buddhehe param. Buddhehe param means that which is above that buddhi. Then what is that which is above buddhi? That which is above buddhi is that what is called Atma. Atma, that is Brahma. Atma and Brahma are one and the same in Vedanta. So know that or realize that above this buddhi is that Brahman or consciousness. Buddhi param buddhva. Buddhva means having known. Having known means not as an object. Knowing it as your own self. Buddhva, in Vedanta, whenever you say know that, know means not as an object. You are not knowing Brahman as an object. You are knowing Brahman as your own self. So that is what we see here. Buddhi param buddhva samstabhya atmanam atmana. Samstabhya means having restrained your lower self by the higher self. Here again I am using complicated words. That is samstabhya atmanam atmana. That is restrain yourself by your own self. What does it mean? It means that you have to restrain your lower self. That is the body-mind complex, your desires, kama, sankalpa and all these things, they are the lower self. And how are you going to restrain it? You are going to restrain it by viveka. That viveka buddhi is the higher self. Atmanam atmana. You restrain this lower self by the higher self means you restrain all these kama, krodha, etc., all these things by samskrutena manasa. The commentator writes, samskrutena manasa. That is by a mind which has been refined by the study. Samskruta means something which has been refined. Samskara, samskara means some sort of refinement. Samskrita is something which has been refined. In fact, the language Samskrita is supposed to be refined. So anyway, Samskritena Manasa means that mind which has been refined. How is it refined? Refined by the study of the scriptures, by the study of scriptures, and also not only by the mere study, also by the process of various process of self-purifications, that is Dhyana Yoga, Atma Sanyama Yoga. By all these things, one has to purify the mind. So unless that mind is purified, you will not be able to restrain, you will not be able to restrain this kama. Theoretically, by just reading Upanishads, you will not be able to control this desires, greeds, ambitions, etc. You have to practice it also. What Upanishad says, you have to practice it also. So that is what is called Samskrita Manas, Samskrita Manas. So Samskritam Manah, let us say, that to be grammatically correct. Then Samstabhya Atmanam Atmana, then Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho. Jahi Shatru. Jahi means kill. Shatrum, kill that enemy. Who is that enemy? Kama Rupam Durasadam. Your enemy is Kama. Your enemy is that desire. Your enemy is that greed, Lobha, etc. So Krishna, we have to see that Krishna is not talking about killing Duryodhana, Dushasana, etc. Krishna is talking about killing that desire, killing that enemy, etc. Because he is talking in a different plane. Krishna is not talking. Initially he told about what is Swadharma. But later he has come to pure Vedanta. He has come to pure Vedanta and he is saying how a human being behaves and what are the complexities in this human nature. The complexity is the man is driven by desire. The man is always driven by desire. Don't be driven by desire. You be the driver. You be the driver and don't be driven. Don't be driven away by that. So that is what he is saying. Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho. That Mahabaho means, oh, mighty armed person. Bahu means shoulders. Mahabahu means man with huge shoulders. You are a person with huge shoulders. Means you are very powerful. Not only you are a man of brawn, you are also a man of brain. So Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho, Kama Rupam Durasadam. Kama Rupam. This Kama is your Shatru. So because Kama is something which is said to be the Shatru, that is the reason why there are so many stories about this Kama Dahanam, etc. Maybe some stories in Shiva Purana, some other stories in Vishnu Purana. All gods, goddesses, etc. All our gods, etc. They are supposed to be the people who have destroyed Kama. Suppose you read a book called Devi Saptashati. Devi Saptashati talks about that goddess Devi. She appears and then she kills all those Shumbha, Nishumbha, etc. And also Chanda, Munda, etc. All these people, all these names, there again, if you see the commentaries on that, they are not demons. They are not demons means they are not some cruel people who are just trying to come and try to make love to the Devi. These are all Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, etc. If you read the commentaries and see the symbolism in that, symbolism is very, very clear. So here Kama Rupam Durasadam. So what he is saying is, a person has to cultivate this Viveka, and this Viveka leads to Vairagya. And in fact, Viveka and Vairagya are mutually supporting. In fact, Shivana in Viveka Chudamani, this Shankaracharya says, Viveka and Vairagya are like two wings of a bird. So if a bird has to fly, both the wings have to be there. So if Viveka alone is there, without Vairagya, the bird cannot fly. If Vairagya alone is there, without knowledge, without this discriminating ability, even then it cannot fly. So this Viveka and Vairagya have to be mutually supporting. Only then the bird flies. So only then the seeker will ascend to that building called Atma Samrajyam. So Atma Samrajyam, he ascends to that place. So Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Kama Rupam Durasadam. So here, overall context, overall meaning is, this Buddhi is the boss of this body-mind complex, and this Buddhi is supposed to control this Indriyas, 10 Indriyas. And Indriyas, what are they? Again, going back to the symbolism of Dashagriva. We know the word Dashagriva. Dashagriva means the 10-headed man. Who is this 10-headed man? Ravanasura. And Ravanasura, what does it symbolize? Ravanasura symbolizes that ego, that massive ego, a person who wants to have everything, a person who wants to always enjoy sensual pleasures. So that is the reason why he is called Dashagriva. So, and Dashagriva is the one who captures the Jivatma and keeps it in the body-mind complex. And body-mind complex is what is called the Lanka. Lanka is said to be the body-mind complex. And the ocean which is around Lanka is the ocean called Samsara. So that is how that symbolism was explained by various people. In fact, there is also a shloka by Shankaracharya which says, Tirtva Moharnavam. Moha Arnavam. Arnavam means ocean. Moharnavam. Moharnavam means this ocean of delusion. Moharnavam. Hatva Kama Krodhadi Rakshasan. And who are the Rakshasas? Kama, Krodha, etc. They are symbolized by this Ravana, Kumbhakarna, etc. These are the people who symbolize this Kama, Krodha, etc. Kama, Krodhadi Rakshasan. Shanti Sitam Prapya. Some word is there. Shanti Sitam. That Shanti. After that, he attains that Shanti Sita. Shanti Sita Samayuktaha. Atma Ramo Virajate. That Atma is said. Rama is said to be that Atma. So Atma is freeing that Jivatma. That Paramatma is freeing the Jivatma from the clutches of the mind. And that mind or ego is that Ravanasura. Ravanasura is the ego or the mind which has captured the Jivatma and kept it in the body-mind complex. So that is the symbolism which we see in that Sundara Kanda. So anyway, this Sarga has, not Sarga, this chapter has come to an end. We will have a sort of review of it tomorrow. Harihi Om Tat Sat.